Alright, you guys, so today we're going to be talking about the causes and effects of Prohibition and how it affects today's society. So Prohibition began with the temperance movement that began in the early 19th century. It was initially started, there were two primary groups that started the temperance movement, and they put a lot of work and effort into picking up speed throughout the years to lead up to Prohibition. Two of those leagues that put in all of that work, one of which was the Anti-Saloon League, or the ASL. They were founded in 1893, but keep in mind that Prohibition didn't actually go into effect until 1920. So that was a lot of work on their end, as well as the Women's Christian Temperance Union. They were also founded in 1873, so lots and lots of years of work that they had put into getting Prohibition into effect. They were both very detrimental in that effort. Both of them are still around today. The ACL now operates, though, under the American Council of Alcohol, and the Women's Christian Temperance Union is also still in operation today. They've both been around, though, for hundreds and hundreds of years at this point, even after Prohibition was overturned. So what is Prohibition? Prohibition was in effect from 1920 to 1933. It was a ban on alcohol that was very largely put into place by these groups who were very anti-alcohol. The reasons that they were very anti-alcohol were they felt that drinking alcohol was sinful, and as well as it being sinful, they also felt that it led to more crime, domestic violence, and laziness. So they were very apt about getting the ban on alcohol passed and put in a lot of effort into that. Flash forward to 1919. So flash forward to 1919. And they have now picked up enough speed and gotten into politics and are able to get this information into legislation, and the 18th Amendment is passed. So the 18th Amendment prohibited the production, the sale, and transport of alcohol. While it didn't exactly make the consumption illegal, it did make the production, sale, and transport illegal. It wasn't until almost a year later, in January of 1920, that Congress passed the Volstead Act. And the Volstead Act, in conjunction with the 18th Amendment, is what really began the start of Prohibition. The Volstead Act then made consuming all intoxicating liquors illegal, and classified intoxicating liquors as beer, wine, and liquor. So with those two in conjunction, it then was able to make consuming alcohol illegal. Some of the effects of that process, though, was there was actually a rise in organized crime. So while they were trying to lower crime rates, they actually had the alternative effect of higher crime rates, because it pushed people underground for their alcohol consumption. So now they were seeking out bootleggers who were manufacturing and selling alcohol off the radar, as well as the creation of speakeasies, because you couldn't just go to the liquor store and purchase it any longer. Now you had to seek out a bootlegger, and you couldn't go to a bar, so you would go to a speakeasy, which was an underground bar. With Franklin Roosevelt realizing that at the end of World War II and at the beginning of the Great Depression, that it wasn't really helping having Prohibition in effect. So Prohibition was overturned on December 5th, 1933, with the ratification of the 21st Amendment. And to today's society, almost 100 years later, though, we still see the effects of Prohibition from 1920 up until coming into 2020, this new year. Studies show that the reduction of alcohol consumption year by year is reducing. So in 1920, the average adult male consumed 7 gallons of liquor, whereas today we consume less than 2, and that's continually decreased year over year. And I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Right, go out.